the boat sa Miniha. Ayan. Boat cruise. The boat cruise. Dito. Sa Lake
Here
George.
comes that loud steam whistle.
Ayan.
3 short blasts. Stand by on the outer decks.
Ayan na po. Naririnig nyo. Yan na. Alis na tayo.
On the right, that's the motor vessel Mohegan. She's been in operation here in the lake since 1908. She's on the National Register of Historic Places. And she's been in continuous operation since she first started, and that makes her the longest running passenger vessel in North America. And the Mohegan makes very nice cruises up to a section lake called the Narrows, which is a little farther north than we're going to go today, but it's a particularly scenic part of the lake. On the far side up here, that's the Lac du Saint-Sacrement, or Lake of the Blessed Sacrament. This is our newest and largest vessel. She was built right here in the lake by members of the Steamboat Company and christened the sail in 1989. Her 4 decks can carry 1,100 passengers, and she has dining seating for 400. And the Saint offers very nice luncheon and dinner cruises. Each of our ships here at the Lake George Steamboat Company each offer their own very special, unique way of enjoying the beauty of Lake George, and we'd invite you to try each one of them. Tell you a little bit about Lake George. Overall, the lake is 32 miles long. It's 3 miles across at its widest point and reaches depths of almost 200 feet. And from this spot at the head of the lake flows northward to Ticonderoga, and there through a series of rapids with falls called La Chute, it drops 210 feet into Lake Champlain. The lake is fed by underground springs and mountain streams, making it one of the purest and cleanest bodies of water in the world, earning itself the name the Queen of American Lakes. Lake George played a major role in the settlement of North America. The lake sits as a vital link in a chain of waterways which include the St. Lawrence River, Lake Champlain, the Hudson, and the Mohawk Rivers. And starting in 1688, for the next 75 years, France and England fought for control of these waterways because they served as the only viable means of transportation throughout the frontier wilderness.
Miniha. Boat Miniha. Ito po ang pangalan niya. Yan po yung ano.
The Red Boathouse and the buildings along the shoreline are all part of Camp Wheelaka. Now that's a Native American term which means the Great Spirit of Women. Mary Fuller, who was a prominent feminist today, started the camp in 1903. The camp was established as a vacation retreat for the women working in the garment factories of Troy, New York. And the camp remains in operation today and it still serves primarily as a women's retreat. The very first people to settle on the lake were the Iroquois, and they named the lake Andriachu-Rakte, or lake that shuts itself in. If you take a look at the Adirondack Mountains that surround the lake, you can see this is a very appropriate name. Now actually, these are just the foothills of the Adirondacks, with the taller peaks lying to the north and to the west. Now the first European to see the lake was Father Isaac Jogues, a French Jesuit missionary, and in 1646 he named the lake Lac du Saint-Sacrement, or Lake of the Blessed Sacrament. And this name remained for over 100 years until 1755, when Sir William Johnson, after defeating the French in a battle, renamed the lake in honor of King of England, George II. Davis, that's called French Mountain. This mountain was prominently featured in James Fenimore Cooper's novel, Last of the Mohegans. And in the novel, Cooper referred to the lake as Wheelaka. And he lobbied for years to have the lake's name changed because he believed such a beautiful American lake should not be named after an English king. Alright, for all the kids on board, I want you to take a look along the shoreline and see if you can find a famous American statue. Ma'am, I said just the kids. I am watching. No, I'm just kidding. We're all kids at heart here in the Mini. Everybody can play. Famous American statue.
Oh, Statue of Liberty.
Looks like a few you found it.
That's a
That's
Statue
right,
of
right
Liberty.
next to that American flag is Lake George's own version of the Statue of Liberty. And this is also the point of the cruise. We'd like to thank any veterans or active duty
Statue of
military
Liberty.
personnel we have on board. We'd like to thank them and their families for their service and sacrifice. And thanks all to their efforts. We're here enjoying this beautiful sunny afternoon on Lake George. Thank you. Just to our left, you'll see what looks like a small yellow boat, but it's actually a solar-powered floating laboratory. And it's collecting scientific data on the lake's water. Things such as the underwater currents, the chemical makeup, the clarity, the temperatures. And it's all part of a long-term study called the Jefferson Project. This project's been undertaken in an effort to maintain the purity and the clarity of the lake's water. You're traveling aboard the Miniha, and his name comes from Longfellow's poem, Hiawatha. And in the poem, Hiawatha's wife's name was Miniha, or Laughing Waters. When first constructed in 1969, the Mini was 103 feet long. But in 1998, she was hauled out of the water, cut in half, and 34 feet was added to the midsection, bringing it to a total length of 137 feet. Now the Miniha is an actual steam-powered paddle wheel boat. That large red paddle wheel you see at the rear, folks, that's not just for show, it's actually propelling it through the water. And it's powered by two reciprocating steam engines from steam produced by a diesel fuel boiler. Well, just in case you don't believe me, you're going to head on down to the right-hand side of the first deck and walk all the way to the back of the boat. There's an observation platform where you can go right inside the engine room and you can check out the entire operation for yourself.
size photos for wall size photos.
You're fine. Thank you, thank you.
West is a
Hello. Yeah.
fine dining restaurant, bed and breakfast. Anybody figure it out? Well, there's two of the homes here. We're right in front of them now where the boathouses have been designed to resemble the homes. The one on the right with the green roof, that's called Pummelbrook, and it's named for a small stream that runs alongside the property. And this white one right here, that's called Braylock. These homes have both won architectural awards and featured Better Homes and Gardens. And yes, folks, these are all single-family homes, even the very large ones.
So she could go on Facebook and look at the photos. That is gorgeous, that gray one.
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you.
Shaded.
And coming up on our right, that's Plum Point, the home of the Antigua Resort. Antigua is one of the few commercial resorts located on the eastern side of the lake. And coming up on our left, that's the tour boat Adirondack. So she's returning to the pier. And now the Adirondack's one of our competitors, but we will be saying hi with the whistles that pass by. And feel free to wave, but please, just not too much. Okay, that's enough waving now.
Lawak pala ng lake, no?
I win the lottery.
If I win the lottery, I'm buying a lake.
You want to take the wrappers off and throw them out first?
Not a problem.
looking off to our right, which is northward down the lake, you can see a few of Lake George's many islands. Altogether, the lake has over 180 islands, and all but 29 are owned by the state of New York. And many of the state-owned islands are available for camping or picnic. The island closest to us, that's called Diamond Island. This island got its name from tiny quartz crystals resembling diamonds that are found along its shoreline. And Diamond Island is a state-owned picnic island. Those two smaller islands a little farther north, those are the canoe islands, Big Canoe and Little Canoe. Now these islands' names date back to 1880 when the American Canoeing Association held their early meetings on the island. Today, Big Canoe Island, owned by the Canoe Island Lodge, is a very popular resort located along the western shoreline, and they like to bring their guests out to the island and enjoy a private beach picnic area. Little Canoe Island, that's also privately owned, and there's a residence built on the island. Now, as you continue to look northward down the lake, you'll see those tall mountains in the distance, and that may look like where the lake ends, but actually, at the foot of those tall mountains, the lake narrows somewhat and continues another 21 miles northward to Ticonderoga. So yeah, as you can see, we're making our turn and working our way over to the western shoreline. And we'll follow that back to the steel pier, and you'll find the western shoreline much more commercially developed than the eastern side. In fact, this section of shoreline is also commonly referred to as Millionaire's Row. Around the beginning of the 20th century, many wealthy industrials built elaborate homes in this area, and many remain today, and I'll be pointing a few of them out as we pass by. large English Tudor-style building coming into view will give you just a small idea why it's called Millionaire's Row. It's called Wheelaka, or Home on Beautiful Waters. It was originally built by Royal C. Peabody. Mr. Peabody was the founder of the Book and Gas and Electric Company, which later became part of Con Edison. The home was designed by famous American architect Stanford White, who also designed the original Madison Square Garden, and this home remains used today a single-family residence. You're starting to see some brown buildings up the hillside coming into view. These are called the lodges at Cresthaven. These are all timeshare units. Now, these buildings were built on property once owned by Ada Ox, early publisher of the New York Times. And many years ago, a large fire destroyed most of the Ox estate, and today all that remains is Boathouse, which today operates as the Boathouse Restaurant. Like I said, that limestone building is called Rural West, and it was originally owned by Edward Shepard, a successful New York City attorney. And when he owned the property, he called it Sun Francine, and he called it Rural West. In recent times, the property has also been owned by prominent businessman Charles Wood. When he owned it, he called it Sun Castle. Mr. Wood is best known as the founder of Storytown, which today is much better known as the Six Flags Great Escape. Now, the property's newest owners that had that large addition to the right-hand side of the building, and they turned to a bed and breakfast and fine dining restaurant, and they returned to the name The Inn at Rural West. A common question we often get is, does Lake George freeze? Well, yes it does. Most winter freezes with ice up to 3 feet thick. In the month of February and the weekends, Lake George Village holds a winter carnival, and many of the events are held right on the ice surface. And then that naturally leads to the next question people then ask us is, well, then what do you do with your boats in the wintertime? Well, most winters they spend it right down at the steel pier, and we put devices called ice eaters in the water, and they keep the water moving just enough that the ice won't form too thickly around the hulls. This section of Shoreline is known as Harman Point, and that yellow house you see at the end of it, that was called Halcyon House by its original owner, Charles Tuttle. Now, Charles was a prominent Republican who once ran for the governor of New York State in 1930. Unfortunately, he lost to a rather worthy opponent named Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In descendants of the Tuttle family still vacation today.
Ito mo nakita.